you read the title or saw the thumbnail. This is Maki vs Curse Technique Kashimo. This video will be split into three sections: Maki scaling, Kashimo scaling, and how the fight would actually go. Even though it's been quite a while, but this was the vid that lost the poll against Yuji and Toji. So finally, here it is. Plus, the recent Kashimo statement has reignited top 3 arguments for Kashimo. So I want to get this video out to hit on Kashimo. Plus, this is kind of Kashimo's second biggest debate besides Yuta. If you think Yuta's beating Kashimo, next question is pretty much always, is he beating Yuki? To start, we'll scale the cooler character, Maki. Maki has a pretty good statement depending on Yuta's level, being relatively enough to be an alright sub to fight Kinjaku or sneak attack him that aren't contradicted by feats like a bum, or not actually gain to her feats. So you're allowed to do weaken Sukuna. Yes, of course, the Sukuna is heavily weakened after he got jumped by Yuta and Yuji, with Sukuna's output dropping by a, to be honest, pretty high amount. So know why we're talking about Sukuna's dismantles. Sukuna states that he can't do massive damage to Yuji and Yuta with dismantle. Then you get statements of his curse energy output lowering, with his dismantles getting weaker to the point you can close in on Sukuna without worrying about dismantles. Then he gets hit by Jacob's ladder, even more soul damage, physical damage, and loses a hand. And we see in the Maki fight that Sukuna's cleaves don't even damage Maki, as she isn't even saying anything about it. It just blasts her away, and she just runs back up like nothing happened. The cleave doing like pretty much nothing damage wise. We'll get back to this point in a bit, but right now I'll cover her when she fights full power Sukuna. The Blitz is an outlier. She reacts to his attacks right after the Blitz, blocking both. Then, after Sukuna hits 2 black flashes, getting his reverse curse technique, getting his RCT back, and heals all the damage done to him, he should be at the peak of his power. Now, I know that sounds crazy, considering all the soul damage he took, but since Sukuna knows about his own soul, he could actually just heal all that back up, and of course, raised his output back, except the soul tearing part and the control over his body. He can't really heal that. Maki also has a feat of dodging rotating slash. I know I've said in earlier videos that it was, and some that it wasn't, because to be honest, it's been pretty confusing for me to figure it out. But now I think it's safe to say she dodged rotating slash. And even if it wasn't rotating slash, it doesn't matter, as we get into later. You see in the Maki fight that he has 3 arms, 2 on the right and 1 on the upper left. You also know how many hands Sukuna needs to do rotating slash, and what he needs to do. He needs to chant, point, and do hand signs. This requires 3 arms, not 4, meaning that in the Maki fight, he's capable of doing it. He does all 3 chants, and he could have pointed it, and he could have done the hand signs with his arms. Sukuna has no reason to fully chant dismantle and just not do rotating slash, and every time he fully chants it, he does rotating slash. Even if you don't think this was a rotating slash, it's a fully chanted dismantle, which is the exact same as a rotating slash, since we now know rotating slash actually travels, and it's literally just a chanted dismantle with a different target. Maki, of course, has precog, but I want to make it clear, it's not something like the Sharingan precog, where you just see moves in the future. All it is just her sensing the movements her opponent makes. It's just having really good senses. Slayers and Demon Slayer do the exact same thing. So it's not this game-changing thing where someone isn't going to hit Maki because she has precog. Maki also, of course, has split soul katana, which pretty much needs no explanation. Pretty much one-shots anyone who can't heal the soul and durability negs. See, surprisingly, it has like no feats of having Yuta or Yuji level durability. She tanks cleaves from Sukuna, but again, he's heavily weakened. She is taking out the fight with a combo of Sukuna's Black Flash and Dismantle. Her durability isn't like bad or anything, she just doesn't take any damage from Sukuna's punches besides Black Flash. And we can't really get a grasp on her AP, since she just like never punches Sukuna. To go back on the point, Maki fighting Sukuna after his Black Flash, Maki can fight relative to the Sukuna, getting outpaced when he goes for power and hits a Black Flash. This should put Maki on the same level as Yuta speed-wise, since they pretty much go relative to the same Sukuna. Maki's just has 2 arms. Now, for Kashimo scaling. First, on the cover his feats of outpacing weakened Meguna. This isn't a feat, as 1, we have no idea how strong this Meguna is, and 2, Meguna was severely weakened, and weaker than the fresh Sukuna we see. When Sukuna uses true form, this is where we get the real Kashimo feats. Kashimo never is relative to Sukuna in this fight and just gets bullied if I'm being honest. Kashimo just never lands a blow, or really does anything to Sukuna in the slightest. And no, Sukuna isn't going full power against Kashimo. It's pretty much stated he tried the same amount he did against Yuta and the rest of the heavy hitters besides Maki, of course. Kashimo also can't dodge rotating slash with a warning. Now to cover the main thing Kashimo fans will say is a pretty good feat, when in reality it's not. Sukuna uses a combo toke and runs all the way around Kashimo before Kashimo reacts. I will admit, in past videos I've said this is a blitz when it's not. However, this is just not a good feat for Kashimo, This is Sukuna outpacing Kashimo to a pretty bad extent. Now before you comment Kamotoke blinding Kashimo, I'll cover why that doesn't matter. It's kinda obvious if you take the Kashimo meat out of your mouth. Kashimo has not one, but two things to know the Sukuna with. He has just actual X-ray vision, and even if you think for some reason the X-ray vision couldn't see Sukuna, you can just sense Sukuna with curse energy. So yeah, this is a pretty bad feat for Kashimo getting outpaced by fresh floating back Sukuna. Kashimo's hacks won't really help him either, besides one thing. It's stated Kashimo's EM waves evaporate objects. Now, Maki should count as an object, and if he gets touched by this, she's cooked. Think of it like a domain expansion. Think of it as a domain expansion. Maki is the same as a rock, and isn't affected while people with curse energy are. So Maki will get evaporated by the EM waves. To talk about Kashimo's durability, it's actually just buns. He can't take a single blow from Sukuna without bleeding. His AP feats are pretty good, being able to damage weaken Megurina, while Maki can't on 50 finger Megurina. So punching wise, Kashimo should take AP. Kashimo does have regen with NBA, which is actually pretty good though. Since the scaling's done, now time to cover how the fight would go. It's pretty clear, in my opinion, Maki just washes Kashimo speed-wise, and it's gonna be running around them, like stabbing them, moving hands and legs with split soul katana. Kashimo's regen won't matter, and anything he tries to do, Maki is dodging and counter-attacking. Kashimo's main win con and his EM waves won't even hit Maki, because Maki should be able to sense the attack before it comes. He has no speed feats besides Sukuna being able to fully chant before the attack reaches him. So I really don't see how Maki doesn't come out this fight winning low diff. So hopefully this video helped end this debate, since as I said in the intro, this is Kashimo's second biggest debate under Kashimo vs Yuta. NBA Kashimo isn't touching any of the heavy hitters. He's buns, trash durability, trash speed, domain victim, has no run cons. To be fair though, he does have pretty good hacks. He's not top 3 though, or 5, or 6. In reality, he's barely top 10. Jackpot Akari of all people could just outstall him. Like, sub, peace.